Hello, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Manchester United have officially signed a goalkeeper at the end of the transfer window. We have not signed a midfielder, and you know what? The reports say that Manchester United will concentrate on these transactions and these positions come January period. And you know what? I understand why. As much as I don't agree with it, I understand why. Let's just start off with this. If you look at Manchester United's midfield, how much money do you think Manchester United are paying the midfielders on any given match week? And considering we're only playing one game a week, the expenditure in that position alone, Casemiro, Bruno alone, is so much. And obviously, Ruben Amorim not qualifying for European football has a massive impact on Manchester United's reasoning to buy another midfielder. On top of that, they wanted to keep Kobe Mino. On top of that, they've got Mount, they've got Ugarte, they've got four players for that position competing. Ruben plays two in the middle, which many of us do not agree with. We would rather see three in the middle to help the team. But he plays two in the middle, and he's got four players competing for that position. Sometimes he plays Mount further forward in the 10. But I presume they've not bought a player because they didn't sell Bruno Fernandes this window, which I think many fans will now turn around and say that was the biggest mistake for Manchester United this window. They should have sold Bruno Fernandes. It would have made the space and accommodated for another midfielder. You know what? This keeper that we have signed, I look forward to, Lemens. I haven't seen him. I don't know how he plays. I don't know his strengths, weaknesses. I have noticed some, as they say, failure comps online. I have noticed some positive comps as well, but comps really doesn't justify a player, especially when it comes to your goalkeeper, because you can highlight all the mistakes in one goal, or you can highlight all the positives in one goal and create a narrative. So that is not fair on the goalkeeper. Let's bring him in and see what he can do. He's 23 years old. We've bought him for 20 odd million plus some add-ons. So let's see. Let's see. I'm supportive of the goalkeeper, and I know many people speak highly of him. The Belgian keeper, he's got a very high ceiling apparently. So we will see. Look, David De Gea came into Manchester United. He had an awful start of his career, and he then developed into a world class keeper for us. So anything can happen. Obviously, we've got Bainde and Onana who are gonna probably compete between themselves for the starting position. But funnier things and crazier things have happened in football. So I wouldn't be surprised if we end up seeing Lamens play for Man United at some random point of the season. Now, my kind of not issue, but kind of something that irks me is I've been shouting on about Donnarumma to Manchester United all window since he's become available, and people are telling me, "Oh, he's expensive, the change is too much." Well, I don't want to hear none of that because Man United are still spending hundreds of millions on attackers. Yet again, we did this under Ed Woodward era, anyways. Hundreds of millions on attackers. Eric Ten Hag regime, you call it Ole Gunnar regime, Jose. We've always signed attackers, always signed wingers. But Donnarumma would have made perfect sense for me. As much as I'm supportive of the young lad who's come in, Donnarumma's 26 years old, highly established, very, very, very secure and safe. And if Man City are getting him, then let's be honest, that speaks everything. Manchester United fans want to hype up a player as soon as they are linked with Manchester United, and he's the best thing since sliced bread. And you guys can stay with on that side. But I would have liked Donnarumma, bro. I don't know exactly how much figure Man City got him for and how much they're willing to pay him a week. I'm sure it's astronomical wages, but Manchester City are in a different phase of their club where they are looking to compete for titles and European success and domestic cups. So I guess they can justify paying that sort of money, and we can't justify paying that sort of money. But I look at, on the other hand, we're paying the absurd amount of money to Bruno Fernandes, to Casemiro, and we should have sold Bruno Fernandes this window. It would have massively, massively catapulted us. No matter how much you guys may disagree, football with Manchester United fans is like a tide. There's high moments, there's low moments, and funnily enough, when we're in a good position, people wanna come at us for bringing up certain things, and then when it's low positions, low moments, people wanna agree with us. So it's just it's all over the show. One interesting one, Rasmus Højlund going to Napoli is caught me off guard massively because Napoli, such an established club, obviously had great success last season. Conte's done fantastically with Scott McTominay. Now they've got Kevin De Bruyne in there as well, and then they identified Rasmus Højlund as the player for their team. Now I don't know much about Napoli. I don't follow Napoli to the T and the ins and outs. Napoli fans or people who do watch Napoli can tell me what maybe is the reason why they identified Rasmus Højlund. Please educate me. I have no idea. What did they see in him? I don't think Rasmus was ever going to say no to going to Napoli, and I know certain content creators and certain Rasmus fans are going to turn this into a narrative saying, "Oh look, Rasmus Højlund has gone to Napoli." What does that tell you? Well, it tells me that Manchester United are identifying players who are not good enough for Manchester United. That's what it tells me, because players have left Manchester United prior and done well. So it won't be the first one, and it most definitely will not be the last one. Funnily enough, another one, Garnacho, gone to Chelsea. He's a Chelsea fan. He's a Hazard fan. He's thanked the coaching staff. He's thanked the club or something, whatever. He's not mentioned anything about the fans. He clearly doesn't like the Manchester United fans. It's very obvious. Someone actually, funnily enough, done a ChatGPT scorer on his post. And it said that it's 96 or 7% or 95% ChatGPT, which was funny. And then the other day I saw something about Roberto Garnacho, Alejandro's brother, being involved in gambling scandals, which is funny as well in itself. So yeah, listen, hey ho, it is what it is. I'm glad Manchester United again identified players that they need to sell. We were originally linked with Emi Martinez, but then Emi Martinez deal didn't happen. I read that Galatasaray were gonna be speaking to him, but on the other hand, Jadon Sancho has gone to Aston Villa, initial loan. Green light from United. Sancho will join Aston Villa, so that's another player gone. Malacia deal did collapse. Anthony's gone to Betis. Lot of activities happening, but Malacia could not secure a deal, which is very, very, very interesting. Malacia was supposed to go. Can't see anything here, but yeah, Malacia was supposed to leave the club in the last moments of the window, but something happened with the deal. I'm not sure, but I don't know if Malacia is going to end up finding himself back into the team. I doubt it. I doubt it, which is a shame, really. I mean, Kobe Mino's been begging for a loan, but Man United said stay put. One of the funny things was Randall Kolo Muani and Tottenham. The deal does not include any buy option. 5 million loan fee. That is a very interesting, very, very interesting one. Lindelof coming back to the Premier League as well. A very, very interesting one. Mark Gahey deal. I don't know. Can anyone tell me Mark Gahey deal? I don't think that's happened. Isak, obviously the biggest story of them all. The biggest transfer of the window ever, if I'm not mistaken, is Isak gone to Liverpool. They made it happen on the last day. And you might as well have written the league at this point to Liverpool, bro. I'll be deadly honest. You might as well hand the league to Liverpool with Ekitike, with Salah, with Hakpo, with Isak, with Usain Soboslai's goal. I mean, they just know how to churn out results. They really, really, really know how to churn out results, and they're going to be the team to beat this season. Really and truly, they are. So look, Anthony, another one going 22 million plus 22 million plus 3 million fee. Manchester United have a 50% sell-on clause on profit for the future sale. So that's on profit. So it's 22 million plus 3, so it's 25. So any profit that Betis make, Manchester United will get a 50% deal on that, which is, I've never heard of 50% sell-on clause, unless you guys can remind me. That is a absurd one. We start going to Newcastle, obviously, because Newcastle had to part ways with Thingy. Edison has now gone to Fenerbahce, which is an interesting one as well. Emi Martinez, a lot of people, this is the thing, you know how funny thing is, the tide I mentioned before, people were really like, Emi Martinez is going to be amazing, he's going to bring stability, and then Lemens got signed, he's like, Lemens is going to be amazing, he's going to bring stability. I find Manchester United fans really absurdly funny. No wonder they get manipulated so much. Let me touch on this. Baleba. As many people said, Baleba. I'm a Baleba. Baleba deal didn't happen. On the 6th of August, so just under a month ago, on the 6th of August 2025 at 7:22 p.m., I made a tweet. I tweeted. You know when I tweet, things happen. Sometimes not, but a lot of times things happen. I put a tweet out. I tweeted that Brighton. So Fabrizio tweeted saying Manchester United approach Carlos Baleba's camp this week to be informed on player situation. Brighton plan to keep Baleba at Manchester United at the club. Sorry, Brighton plan to keep Baleba at Brighton as the price tag would be very high, seen as a difficult deal. Manchester United plan to try get new midfielder after Šeško deal this summer. They tried to, and this is what I said exactly. You know, Fabrizio tweeted and then I tweeted straight away. I said, Brighton will price us out and we will not be able to secure the deal. And it will just be left with verbal foreplay from journals. When I said Manchester United are making a huge mistake in the Šeško deal, I meant this. I did not mean buying Šeško was the problem. I meant buying Šeško first was the problem. Going for Šeško before Baleba was the problem, and I hope I'm proven horribly wrong. And I got a barrage of negative comments. Do you suffer with depression? Why are you negative? Spreading bad energy for no reason. You're just creating scenarios. Keep showing your stupidity. Shut up. Nobody wants to hear you. You are not a board member. Shut the fuck up. Always and always spreading bad energy. You're absolutely wrong. We will get him. Oh my God. I got an abundance of horrible, horrible messages, man. What about the quote tweets? Were they quote tweets? I'm sure they were quote tweets. Well, actually, funnily enough, no, but it's just replies. But yeah, a lot of people, negative cons, go back to bed. Why would you go for him if they're gonna price us out? Make it make sense. You know, football fans I find them so funny, bro. So funny. It's just absurd. And you know the thing is, yeah. The thing is, I try my best to open the brains of people to educate them on football as much as possible. But big faceless accounts and big other accounts on YouTube and whatever have got people really infested with football, and that is what football Twitter is. You know what I mean? That is exactly what football Twitter is. If you are positive, you can get on the train. You will make a lot of money and you will gain a lot of fans. If you're positive and you're able to pump, positivity, which is funny. Which is funny because normally it's the other way around. But I knew this deal was gonna happen. This deal wasn't gonna happen. Rant was very, very adamant this deal was gonna happen, and I knew this deal was not gonna happen. I mean, Rant was like, just chill, just chill. That's all you can do. And I remember Rant telling me that I was too emotional. But I want to know, what about Ineos now? How are we talking about Ineos? See, I look at it very differently. I look at it like Casemiro's on big wages, Bruno's on big wages, Mount is on, big wages for what he's given us anyways. So that's three midfielders already. Ugarte is not on big wages. He's okay. Kobe's obviously not on big wages, but they're going to look to give him a deal and make him happy. And that's 5, if I'm not mistaken, right? 5 players for competing for two positions. Ineos bringing in another player for 100 M's and then paying him X amount of money, 150, 170 grand a week. It just didn't make sense. You have 5 players competing for 2 positions that the manager plays in the middle. Bar Mount, because Mount can play above sometimes. Ugarte is not going to play a 10. Bruno, I don't see him playing a 10 because the manager doesn't. But even if you take Mount and Bruno in the 2 10s and say, okay, they can play 2 10s sometimes, there's 3 players competing for 2 positions. You get in another midfielder, you then have to pay him 150, 120, whatever, 100 grand, let's say, for argument's sake. You then put Mino on 120, 130. Then you calculate the wage bill of the midfield alone. That's a lot, bro. From a business perspective, if you guys see it differently, let me know. But from a business perspective, that just doesn't make sense. It's not. It doesn't. Surely doesn't make a good business move. So the report comes out that Manchester United are gonna prioritize midfield in the January window because they're probably thinking that Bruno Fernandes is gonna go, Casemiro is gonna go 2026 summer, so it makes sense to entertain. But then it's a World Cup year, AFCON year. Which midfielder are they gonna identify? They were gonna identify that other midfielder. He's young. What is he? 21-year-old, £26 million release clause midfielder that we thought we were gonna go and get. We didn't get him. But I keep telling Manchester United fans, getting a midfielder does not solve the issue until you start playing three in the middle. And when you play three in the middle, you can accommodate Mino, Casemiro, Bruno. Or Mino, Mount, Bruno. The issue would not be solved if we buy a midfielder. I am glad we did not buy a midfielder. Look and listen the way what I'm telling you. Buying a midfielder does not straight away solve instantly Manchester United's headache, because the midfield positions have semi-decent players already that that need to be accommodated by the manager. And this is my biggest thing with Ruben Amorim. My biggest thing with Ruben Amorim is fix that midfield, and I hope and pray that it comes to him in due time. That, you know what, I'm not going to really change too much, but I'm just going to add a piece of the puzzle in there and see what picture I get out. See what I eventually get out. That is all I want Ruben Amorim to do, and go from there. Mbeumo, Šeško, Mbeumo, Cunha, Šeško. We can do all of the other stuff later. Do you know what I'm saying? On the front too. But if we get that midfield sorted by what we already have, we can definitely have a better season than what we're already having now. Let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree. I know a lot of people would probably disagree, saying we needed a midfielder. I mean, I said myself, I put a tweet out there saying, Conor Gallagher, bring him. Conor Gallagher, bring. I like Conor Gallagher because people, again, I tweeted, Conor Gallagher, bring him, as I do, big up to my Nigerian viewers. And a lot of people, Conor Gallagher, you don't know football. Conor Gallagher is a really good player. On a loan, I would have loved him. He comes in. We don't end up spending too much money on the transaction. Just cover his wages or whatever as such. And he brings fantastic energy. Huge amount of energy. And he would do what the role we are looking Ugarte to do that he cannot do. And he would also help, Casemiro take some workload. At the end of the day, we are playing one game a week. FA Cup is not until January, so not really many excuses. We have enough players there. But Conor Gallagher coming in on a loan deal would help Bruno Fernandes play in that 10 position as well. Mason Mount playing in that 10 position sometimes as well, which would then take off some load with Cunha and Mbeumo. You see Cunha has already done his hamstring. Hope it's not too bad, but it would just take off a little bit of strain. One game a week. Injuries still can happen. Probability is much lower, but we will see as the season progresses. So far, I think Manchester United will be okay. Let's just wait it out and see what happens. Let me know in the comments. I appreciate you all. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Peace, love, and guidance. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm out, people. Love.